Hey people, it's Niall Stokey. This is from CNN. So Belgian king sends regrets to Congo for Leopold II atrocities, but doesn't apologize. The king of Belgium has sent his deepest regrets to the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, for the suffering and humiliation his nation inflicted while colonized the region, but stopped short of apologizing for his ancestor Leopold II's atrocities. On the 60th anniversary of DRC's independence, King Philippe of Belgium wrote a letter to President Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, in which he admitted that to further strengthen our ties and develop an even more fruitful friendship, we must be able to talk about our long common history in all truth and serenity. The acknowledgement is a watershed moment in Belgium's post-colonial history and a rare admission of imperialist sins from the royal family, even if Philippe did not go as formally apologizing. Our history is made up of common achievements, but has also experienced painful episodes. Like, what? This is just like basically talking about a hostage saying, well, we had some good times. During the period of the Congo Free State, acts of violence and cruelty were committed which were still weighing on our collective memory, the king wrote. Philippe is a distant nephew of Leopold II, who owned what was then called the Congo Free State between 1885 and 1908, and ruled his people brutally, exploiting their labor and committing atrocities against them. Historians estimate that under Leopold's misrule, as many as 10 million people died. The colonial period, which followed, also caused suffering and humiliation, the letter adds, referring to the subsequent 52 years of rule by the Belgian state until Congo's independence and the formation of the DRC. I would like to express my deepest regrets for those wounds of the past, the pain of which was now revived by the discrimination still too present in our societies, he added. It wasn't previously announced, so it was surprising that it was today, but I think it's a very good sign. Els Van Hoof, a Belgian MP who leads the Chamber of Representatives Foreign Affairs Committee, told CNN of the Monarch letter, it's the beginning of a process, and it's a process in Parliament, also society. The letter also marks a significant victory for anti-racism protesters. No, it isn't. Who have been demanding Belgium address its colonial past and republic monuments to Leopold II. One unlikely leader of the demonstrations is a 14-year-old called Noah, whose petition to take down Brussels monuments has been signed tens of thousands of times. He told CNN on Tuesday that the letter was a good first step. I want concrete ads he had, calling for wider education of Belgium's colonial past. There are still people who don't know this history. There are lots of people who want to deny or don't understand what happened. It's very much about finding the truth. It's never too late. Perhaps it could have happened 60 years ago, but if it happens now, it's good. Process of reflection. A reassessment of Belgium's colonial legacy has taken place in the wake of the global Black Lives Matter protests. Several statues depicting the former leader have been taken down in the country. Earlier this month, Belgium's parliament approved an inquiry into its colonial history led by lawmaker Van Hoof. I welcome the process of reflection that our parliament has started so that we finally make peace with our memories, the king wrote, but he did not take the opportunity to apologize to the DRC for the acts committed by Leopold or its Belgian governments until 1960. Is it only the king that has to apologize, or does it have to go further than that? I think it has to go further than that, Van Hoof told CNN on Tuesday. That's the work of the committee. In the end, we will see who has to apologize. The lawmaker did not commit to recommending all statues of Leopold are taken down, as many activists have demanded. You have to contextualize and explain and make it part of the process, she said. Why? Just put them in a museum and then put a plaque explaining what was the reason. And Hoof said that the voices of Black Lives Matter activists will be heard when the inquiry fields public input towards the end of the year. She added that Philippe's statement was a good first step so we can finally deal with our past because it hasn't happened before. The ARC was finally established on June 30th, 1960, a date marked by a historic speech from independence leader Patrice Lumumba, in which he described 8 decades of subjugation that were filled with tears, fire, and blood. A Leopold statue in Antwerp was removed after a Black Lives Matter protest swept around the globe earlier this month, while another opposite Brussels Royal Palace has been repeatedly covered in anti-racist graffiti. We want an apology, a real one. Not one that asks us to read between the lines, Joel Sambi Naziba, a Belgian Black Lives Matter activist, told CNN on Tuesday. Sambi Naziba said that all statues should be taken down, replaced by monuments recognizing Congolese people who have been killed. You want to discuss who benefits from colonization, she added. With no immediate offer of visas, very few Congolese people came to Belgium until recently, so while the country became home to people from a number of European nations, colonial sentiments towards African cultures have never been fully shaken off in the country. That prevailing attitude has led to a number of high-profile incidents of blackface in the country, including by leading politicians, and a general lack of education around Belgium's imperialist past. Last year, a group of UN human rights experts visited several cities in Belgium and found clear evidence that racial discrimination is endemic in institutions in Belgium. But Berry College historian Matthew Stannard, who specializes in colonial memory in Belgium, told CNN that direct acknowledgement of past offenses from a royal family is a new concession. There's a whole generation of younger people in Belgium who have nothing to do with colonialism. and who are willing to question the colonial past stand outside. Views of Leopold II are deeply polarized. The number of people who have come out speaking against him has definitely grown. Correction. This story has been updated to correct the spelling of Joel Sambi Naziba's name. Well, to be honest, I don't think this is very sincere. I mean, I remember seeing a picture of like chocolate hands that are sold in Belgium. And for those who don't know, what they would used to do during the colonial period, well, I mean, when Leopold II ran it, is if they couldn't collect enough rubber or whatever it was they were growing, chocolate or stuff like that, they would cut their hands off. And that stuff is done to memorialize, well, in a memorialize, a good way to sort of trivialize it. And I remember seeing a post, which was, I think was from Belgium, but it may not have been, but featured them eating a black woman-shaped cake. You know, I don't think these people are offended, and none of this is even talked about the money. Like how much was looted from the Congo, or the effects of the fact that they had sent Belgian mercenaries went to Congo during the Civil War and helped fight it, or any of that stuff. And I personally say that all black people should just boycott Belgium the way people boycott France, because as quiet as it's Belgium has done some horrible stuff. I mean, I've heard they said that Belgium's wealth and all its monuments could not have been built without all the wealth that was looted from the Congo. Anyway, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'll leave this story and some others in the description. If you'd like to support this channel, leave my GoFundMe in the description. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll leave it there as well. Peace.